Ladies and gentlemen, all the bands, all of the parade participants, we'd ask you to get into formation at this time. Any of those parents who have accompanied these bands or participants are welcome to join us in the seats, in the chairs in front of the stage. I'm going to turn the microphone over to the voice of the Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade, and our good friend, Mr. Joe Teipel, who's been with us since the beginning of this great program. This is a man that I greatly respect. He's got golden pipes, and his heart is just as full of gold as well. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joe Teipel.
Thank you. You've been listening to Mr. Joel Biggs, our chairman of historic programs, putting on events, fantastic events like this all over the country. This being, of course, our 9th annual, our 2019 edition of this, the Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade. This, the opening ceremony. Your attention now, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of things gaining our attention. But to kick things off, we have the L&L Dance Company. Let me introduce them to you at this time. They hail from the great state of Ohio. My birthplace, after all, Toledo. In particular, their little-known town, Wapakoneta. Anybody from Wapakoneta, Ohio? All three of you. Driving through that town, you blink and you miss the whole thing. This dance company from Wapakoneta, Ohio, is directed by Lindy Chillis. Here representing the company are performers Lauren Craig, Kylie Engel, and Emily Tingler. Holding the banner is Isaac Chillis, Army 82nd Airborne veteran, and Becky Schaub. The L&L Dance Company has performed and competed all over America and has received many awards and national titles, but this by far is the greatest honor that they have received and are able to participate in this event. L&L thanks all veterans on this day and every day. Ladies and gentlemen, the L&L Dance Company from Wapakoneta, Ohio.
When I think back on these times and the dreams we left behind, I'll be glad 'cause I was blessed to get to have you in my life. When I look back on these days, I'll look and see your face. You were right there for me. In my dreams I'll always see you soar above the sky. In my heart there'll always be a place for you for all my life. I'll keep a part of you with me, and everywhere I am there you'll be. And everywhere I am, there you'll be. Will you show me how it feels to feel the sky within my reach? And I always will remember all the strength you gave to me. Your love made me make it through. Oh, I owe so much to you. You were right there for me. In my dreams I'll always see you soar above the sky. In my heart there'll always be a place for you for all my life. I'll keep
Wapakoneta, Ohio, traveling 12,000 miles round trip with them and their family. Dave Livingston, to pay tribute to you and your veteran friends out there. Wow. Youth, the promise of our future. Good to know they're raising them right still. Now from a troop, we go to a one-man band because he's doing your Celtic pipe and drum introduction. A one-man band, he's been with us before. Put your hands together doing Amazing Grace, Chuck Jameson, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Beautiful rendition for you. Amazing Grace on his bagpipes, Chuck Jameson. And now at this time, ladies and gentlemen, may I please ask you to stand for the presentation of colors, and our national anthem is performed once again by the Marine Forces Pacific Band under the direction of Gunnery Sergeant Miss Christy Espinoza. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. You may be seated, please. And so, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, parents and grandparents, Kama'aina, Malahini, visitors, friends from near and far, Americans, visitors, welcome one and welcome all. We have people hailing, like I said, from near and far here today for the ceremonies. You know a little bit about me, a little bit more as I'm known as Surfer Joe the Auctioneer, the CEO of Voice Over Hawaii, Connections Hawaii, and Auction Action. But I want to know a little bit more about you. And of course, we're here with the spirit of America in our hearts, many of us, most of us, as well as our visitor friends. So on that note, I'm going to begin by doing a little bit of a voice-off competition. I want to know who you are and where you're from. You're all proud of being Americans that are Americans, but you're all proud of also your home state. So when I call out for you to shout out your state, you're going to shout it out on the count of 3, and we're going to see who's going to win the Spirit of America Award after I call a few states out in particular. Who hails, for example, for the great state of Maryland? Customary token 1. How about Delaware? Oh, man, we got to get someone, Joel, in from Delaware. Pick up the rear there. Rhode Island, surely. Delaware, welcome. How about the great state of Texas, the Lone Star State? Yeah, come on. How about the golden state of California? Yes. Welcome, welcome. We even have some foreigners in the house. At this time of the year, of course, in Hawaii, we always get a lot of Canadian snowbirds paying us a visit. And you're such a one. All right, holding up, oh, Canada, right here in the front row. But I understand there's a bunch of people from the land down under Australia here. Fantastic. Welcome. Right on. Welcome, everybody. I would rather be anywhere else but right here, right now with you. Aloha mai, aloha no kako, and aloha. We have greatness in the house. We have excellence. In fact, we're surrounded by excellence. It's very ironic that here we are at Kuroda Field, right in the middle of excellence surrounding us. We have the most booked hotel in U.S. history, the Halikoa Hotel, headed up by Mr. Fagan and company. Here we are at Fort DeRussy and Kuroda grounds. We've got the Ritz-Carlton, the Trump Tower, World Standards of Excellence, our sponsoring hotel, the Hilton Hawaiian Village right over there, the biggest resort in the Pacific. We are surrounded by excellence. And of course, I have excellence just reeking on stage, and we're going to be introducing these gentlemen in just a moment. And now for my formal remarks. On behalf of Historic Programs and the Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade Committee, we welcome you to the opening ceremony of the Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade, our 9th edition. This is the largest event commemorating the anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. This is an official event of the World War II 75th anniversary commemoration. Today, we will commemorate the events of the past by saluting those whose service and sacrifice preserved the freedom of a grateful nation. We're honored to have a few of those great men who were here in 1941 and who personally witnessed the attack seated right behind me. These men represent all those who served and those who died on that day, December 7th, 1941. Our veterans of World War II are great Americans. We thank you, we love you, and we will always remember what you have given to us and our nation. Before you, gentlemen, are the reason we have all served, and we know this is why we are here. We're here to honor you. There are young, talented students representing states from all across the nation. They are here to share their talent and express their gratitude to you. They have worked tirelessly to make the trip here to Hawaii to see you, pay tribute to you, and help to remind all Americans why we are a nation of freedom and liberty. We welcome all of you who are here today to participate in this historic parade. We thank those who helped to make this event possible. I want to acknowledge A&E History, Pearl Harbor Tours, the Hilton Hawaiian Village, Boeing, Pacific Historic Parks, the Pearl Harbor Aviation Museum, the Military Order of the Purple Hearts, and the Marine Corps League. Also, the Navy League. Dave Livingston, thank you, sir. And our active duty military personnel who we proudly stand with today. And by the way, all of our proceedings are live on the World Wide Web across the world at pearlharborparade.org. At this time, I would like to invite each of our young student representatives to please present a flower lei to each of our Purple Heart recipients who are with us today. We hope that you recognize that today's generation are here to honor you. They love you and appreciate you for what you have provided to them. We will never forget your service and sacrifice. We now invite our Boy Scout representatives to come forward to present a medal commemorating the 75th anniversary of World War II to our World War II veterans. At this time, could our Purple Heart veterans please stand? I have some names to be recognized as well. Right on. Thank you. Before I introduce and we recognize and present to our people, our VIPs, our honorees on stage, is there anybody else out there? Would you please stand if you are an American veteran, please, at this time? Anybody else that we need to recognize? Right over there. Thank you. God bless you. Right on. Thank you. Thank you. Woo! Proud to be an American. Moving right along, ladies and gentlemen, we now, among the World War II veterans, present to our Pearl Harbor survivors. Seated with us here on the main stage at our opening ceremony for this Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade this year, our 2019 edition, are some very, very distinguished individuals, one of whom has achieved his and the century mark. I would do anything, give my left toe to live a life like Mickey Ganich, who's here with his wife, Barbara, representing the USS Pennsylvania. Woo! Thank you, Mickey. God bless you. We also have on stage Roy Solt, World War II vet, and his daughter, Nadine. Can we recognize them with a round of applause this time? We have a Vietnam vet in the house, and to be presented today, Edward and his dear Alana McGlynn. Can we recognize them at this time? Welcome, Mr. McGlynn. I met this gentleman earlier today, also a Vietnam vet. Let's give it up for, please stand to be recognized, Joel Brilliant. I can't ever remember these two not being with us. I don't know if it's been every year, but it just seems like you're a fixture every year. Not 7, not 8, 9 years. Wow. Would you care to stand to be recognized? Let's give it up for Tom Berg and his lovely lady, Lisa. Tom and Lisa Berg, representing the USS Tennessee. You want to just wave? You want to just wave there? After all you've done for us. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for joining with me and thanking all the participants and, of course, our veterans for their service and sacrifice. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege and pleasure and honor to now introduce our first of our two keynote speakers. First of all, hailing from the great state of and the city of Prescott, Arizona, Lila Keene. Wow, what a big family she has. She's our first speaker, again hailing from Prescott and a native from that city. She's a senior trumpet player at Prescott High School Pride of Prescott Marching Band. She plans on attending Northern Arizona University, and she's representing all of the young students who are here with us today, who number, of course, in the thousands. I'm going to actually introduce both of the speakers and then have them just come up consecutively. Lila will be followed by Mr. Joe Brilliant, and he's the gentleman I pointed to a moment ago just behind me to the stage left. Commander, Rainbow Chapter, Military Order of the Purple Heart, retired Navy Captain. Joe serving in numerous assignments during his naval career, including 2 combat tours in Vietnam. He currently serves as commander of the Rainbow Chapter of our Military Order of the Purple Hearts. Band student Lila, you will be first, and she is right behind me. Come on down. Give her a nice round of applause. Let's hear it. Prescott, Arizona, her hometown. All right, everybody loves you already.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lila Keene, and I am a senior student at Prescott High School, and I'm a proud member of the Pride of Prescott Marching Band. I am honored to be standing in front of such an amazing crowd this evening. I understand that today is one overflowing with emotion, but I hope that maybe, for just a few minutes, You may lend me your ears so that together we may remember those that we lost 78 years ago today. Sunday, December 7th, 1941, seemed just like any other morning on the naval base by Honolulu. It was a sunny morning, and the approximate 181 warplanes of the Imperial Japanese Navy were nowhere to be seen. At 7:55, however, what once seemed like a beautiful morning would soon be remembered in the history books as an act of terrorism against the United States of America by Japan. Bombs fell, lives were taken, and tragedy struck the nation. At 8:10, a bomb was dropped on the deck of the USS Arizona, sinking it with 1,000+ men still on the inside. Including civilians, the deaths of Americans were over 2,400, and another approximate 1,000 were wounded. A majority of you here have been personally affected by the tragedies of Pearl Harbor. To anyone and everyone out there who has been affected by this tragic day, from the deepest parts of my heart, I am sorry for your loss. Let us remember them together. Let us honor them together. On that Sunday, 78 years ago, our nation, as it always does in the face of crisis and tragedy, came together. On December 8th, on the topic of Pearl Harbor, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt said this: "No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people will, through their righteous might, win through absolute victory. With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbound determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God." That is why we are gathered here today, ladies and gentlemen. We are the people of unbound determination. By coming together in our times of grief and sorrow, though they are painful, we allow those that we have lost not to be taken in vain. Maybe I don't have a right to stand in front of you today and talk of remembrance. After all, I've never lost anyone to the violence of others, or on this day 78 years ago, and I wasn't around when this tragic day struck the nation. But a part of me, in a way, has always wanted to push for the remembrance of this topic. Every year on the calendar, on December 7th, I see the words Pearl Harbor right in front of the words my birthday. I'm 17 today. When I was younger, I would tell people that my birthday was on Pearl Harbor, and they would ask me what that was. The fact that so many people, as the years go on, remember less and less about this tragic day seems wrong to me. From the time I could wonder what Pearl Harbor was, I did. I wanted to know what the words on my calendar meant. Together, we can allow those words on the calendar to mean something to people, if only we remember. I stand before you strong and remarkable people today and have never respected individuals more. I ask you to promise that you'll continue to remember those we have lost, to share your remembrance through your actions and words, to not have let them pass on in vain. By remembering as a nation, we grow stronger. We prevent tragedies like these from happening when we remember. Our memory is a powerful, powerful object, ladies and gentlemen. Let us not remember the ones we lost as statistics, but as heroes, as warriors. Let us love one another, ladies and gentlemen. With the unbound determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. We will achieve that inevitable triumph, my friends, long as we never forget, so help us God. God bless you all. Thank you.
Good afternoon and aloha. I'm privileged to be here among military veterans, their families, and supporters as we pause to commemorate the events of December 7th, 1941, 78 years ago. We honor all those who experienced the horrors of a Sunday morning attack, men and women and children who died or suffered injury, servicemen and civilians who were able to fight back, and those who followed into battles throughout the Pacific. In addition to the ever-decreasing number of Pearl Harbor survivors who are able to journey to this annual ceremony, there are numerous veteran service organizations represented here, including Korean War Veterans Association, Veterans of Foreign Wars, American Legion, Disabled American Veterans, Vietnam Veterans of America, Go for Broke Association, and many more. Among their fellow associations is the Military Order of Purple Heart. Together, we all advocate for veterans' rights and benefits, preserve the memory and pride of those who served, and honor the sacrifices of our fellow veterans. The Purple Heart is a medal. It's a military decoration for those wounded or killed in combat action. It originated from the days of the Revolution and is attributed to General George Washington's belief that all servicemen, officers, and enlisted warranted recognition upon appropriate wartime feats. It was officially reestablished by Congress in 1932. The Patriot members of the Military Order of Purple Heart crosses every branch of service and encompass every armed conflict the U.S. has been or is currently engaged in. The local Hawaii chapter members have seen combat in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. They also represent Purple Heart recipients from conflicts in Pakistan, Syria, and several other countries. The 3 Hawaiian chapters proudly attend military and related ceremonial events on Kauai, Hawaii, and Oahu, present leadership awards and scholarships to more than 25 local high schools with junior ROTC programs, and assist all service members and their family with their VA benefits. The Hawaii Military Order of the Purple Heart members with us today are visible in their purple aloha shirts and represent current and past military members who were wounded or died in combat and act as a symbol of the great sacrifices made. They honor the more than 3,000 fellow service members who were killed or wounded here on December 7th, 1941, each one a Purple Heart recipient. Thank you all for attending the ceremony and enjoy the ensuing parade through downtown, where the community and visitors want to express remembrance of this historically important day and appreciations to all those who have or are currently serving.
Brilliant, brilliant. In fact, you were listening to Mr. Joe Brilliant, and before that, Lila Keene. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a very special, precious moment in our parade day ceremony, and especially in our parade history. We have a very special VIP who's given so much, and he's giving a lot tonight. In fact, he's 100. I'll introduce now. Our final 2 speakers, I'll first introduce to you Mickey. This history. Today, we have the privilege by hearing from Pearl Harbor survivor, Mickey Ganish. Mickey was born 100 years ago. He was stationed aboard the USS Pennsylvania and was scheduled to play in a football game against the USS Arizona team. At the time of the attack, we are honored, sir, to have you with us here today. Once again, a warm, big welcome for Mickey Ganish, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll leave it just like this. I was born November 18, 1919, and I thought I lived in a town that no one ever heard of, but I heard of one that never heard of before. My town is Mogador, is a town just northeastern Ohio. I think that's counting the cats and dogs there. It wasn't too big there. I joined the Navy January 1941, 21st of January. The reason I did this there, because I'm a draft dodger there. In the fall of 1940, all the men 21 years and older had to register for the draft. They say, you go into the draft there, you're going to go into the Army. And I didn't want to go in the Army. They say, you have to go in the Army, you sleep outside in the cold food there. So call me a draft dodger. I joined the Navy January 1941. But really, things were really bad before that, because I went through the Depression, the stock market crashed in 1929. We were fortunate. I lived on a farm in northeastern Ohio, and it seemed like every weekend friends and relatives would come to our house, get bags of food, trade it in for meat or trade it in for bread. It wasn't really that bad there. Only jobs that were available was work progress administration. That's building roads, building bridges, the sewer lines, and different things like that. Creating jobs there, and also cutting down trees, planting new ones. It was that bad. And went through boot camp in San Diego. And fortunately, I was getting good grades in my studies that I had. They said, "What would you like to do?" I said, "Well, I'm sports-minded. I'd like to be someplace where it could have sports." They said, "You get on a big ship, big base, you got a better chance." I said, "Good, because football is my main sport." After I completed my training in San Diego, they assigned me to USS Pennsylvania. That's a battleship. At that time, all battleships were named after states. Reported aboard August 15th, 1941. Joined the ship's football team, who had a great team. Fortunately, the ship was the flagship of the fleet. Whenever we came in a port, we'd type at a dock. The reason is, we always had an admiral aboard there. Admiral liked to just walk off the ship, or he didn't like to ride a boat for 10-15 minutes like some other people do. So we had rank as its privileges. But we had propeller trouble. They put us in dry dock, and 2 days before the 5th of December, they put us in dry dock. No water around us, so working the propellers there. Everybody's talking about whether we're getting a war. Oh, no one bothered that. No one would bother to attack us there. We had 8 battleships at Pearl Harbor. A nation would be crazy to attack us there. They said all you have to worry about is sabotage. So all airfields were instructed to bunch their planes together. Prevent sabotage. Easier to prevent sabotage by bunching them all together. Whether we're getting a war or not there. Over in the Far East, Japan was stretching out all over the country, all over the Western Pacific there. Some of our people were friendly for what was going on, but so many things with Germany was going on in European theater. Japan was going all over the Pacific. We better do something. We will put an embargo on Japan. We would not give them any more supplies, because we're sending iron, wood, and various things to them. They need it. We put an embargo, they stopped it. That made them unhappy. So they decided they would attack Pearl Harbor there, and that way the United States would give up. Not all the Japanese was for it. A man by the name Admiral Yamamoto was against any aggression against the United States. He was against it. He knew the industry, knew the training, he knew what the United States had, but he's outvoted. They decided to attack Pearl Harbor. Attack Pearl Harbor on Sunday, because all the ships in Pearl Harbor itself would be working during the week out at sea, training, gunnery practice there. Ships would be in port. My ship was a USS Pennsylvania, who had a great football team. We were scheduled to play USS Arizona Fleet Football Championship, 1 o'clock, December 7th of 1941. That was going to be the Super Bowl of the Navy. Not like it is now, the Super Bowl, but it was going to be a great game. We're going to leave the ship at 8 o'clock in the morning, do a little scrimmage with our padding on, because there's no place to change clothes there. At a little field right close by to the ship. We're going to leave the ship 5 minutes of 8. And something happened. I got a phone call down in the living compartment. The living compartment of the quartermaster, which I was back by the rudder. They said, when the fellows called, said the Japanese attacking Pearl Harbor. I said, oh, come on, let's not talk about it. But at that time, the ship shuddered there. But we're sitting on blocks. There's no water underneath us there. About that time, we'd feel the ship really shudder in there. Some of the people went to their stations, went to their guns, started shooting back before the rest of the people down below decks knew what was going on. And all hands man your battle station. My battle station's up in the crow's nest, about 70, 80 feet up in the air. So there's no time to change clothes, and I have all my padding on, everything except my helmet and spikes there. Up there, by the time I got up there, I had a bird's eye view of everything. Ships were burning, planes were burning, fires all over. It was really chaotic here. There was nothing I could do. I was the lookout itself there. No. But the Japanese attack was, the first attack was going to hit the submarine, hit the battleships there, because at that time the strength of the navies were battleships there. So they were instructed to have torpedo planes first come in, drop their torpedoes on all the big ships that they saw. Well, everybody was out in the open there except the USS Pennsylvania in dry dock. And we weren't in our normal place. The Japanese knew where all the planes, all the ships were. Of course, they misspelled some of the names there, but they knew everything. The first attack was the torpedo planes. They did what they damage they could. Second attack was going to be bombers and all. Now, evidently, the Japanese pilots had told the carriers there that there was a big ship in dry dock with 2 other destroyers that cast them down. So second attack, they hit us with a 500-pound bomb. It came on past me, went through 2 decks, exploded way below me. It shook me, but it did not hurt me. The third attack was going to be with aircraft carriers, the oil facilities, and the repair facilities. Now, aircraft carriers were not in port due to the fact that Admiral Halsey and his aircraft carrier group were taking planes to Midway and Wake Island. They were not in port. They were supposed to be in port. Japan knew they were supposed to be in port, but they were delayed by 12 hours coming back. They were not in port. So Admiral Nagumo of the Japanese fleet decided there they better leave while they could, because they didn't know where our aircraft carriers were. So they left. Fortunately for us, because if there would have been a third attack hitting oil facilities and repair facilities, I think we'd be talking Japanese now, because I think it'd been disaster there. Because the closest oil and closest repair facility, 2,000 miles away, it would have been disaster. But fortunately there was no third attack there, and as a result, with one other thing that happened there, because up to that time, the women were the stay-at-homes, take care of the families. The men were the wage earners. Now, we had blocks long people enlisting in the various services. We were attacked there. The country was united, not like it is now. The country is united. Everybody wanted to do their part. So if something happened there, the women, instead of staying at home, they stepped in. They started making planes, tanks, guns, ships, everything that we needed there. You've probably seen a sign, we did it at Rosita River, they did it there. They furnished us with what we needed. So with the no third attack, and the women stepping in doing what they should do to furnish us with what they need, we won the war. My ship was an old ship, built in 1915, commissioned 1916. We could do 15 knots downhill with the tailwind. We didn't have the speed there. So he used this for fire support. The only thing that my ship did in the World War II was the invasion of Attu, Kiska, Macon, Kwajalein, and we took Palau, Saipan, Guam, and Philippines. That's the only things that we took part in there. We were never hit Pearl Harbor. We were hit at Pearl Harbor that one time, and on August 12th of 1945, we'd already taken back Iwo Jima and Okinawa. We got in Okinawa there, get ready for the invasion of Japan. 8:30 that night, a Japanese plane came up with its lights on. Nobody fired a shot at it. They thought it was a friendly plane. Aimed its torpedo at the closest big ship you saw. The battleship Pennsylvania, my ship. Now the living compartment of the quartermasters is back by the rudder. That's where the torpedo hit. About a half hour before, well, this had happened at 8:30, the attack came. About a half hour before that, I decided to go write a letter up the ridge and write a letter, and I wasn't in my normal place. When the torpedo hit, everything went up. The living compartment of quartermasters, I had 26 quartermasters. I lost 20 of them that night. The next morning, Japanese asked for peace. We tried to stay afloat while they signed a peace treaty in Tokyo Bay. That was the only hit that we had there after Pearl Harbor itself. I talked to schools, I talked to clubs, anybody want to listen, I give them a little history lesson there. I think the biggest problem we have in our nowadays, the kids are not accountable for their own actions. They depend on their mother or father. The people bail them out of whatever they're doing, so they don't learn by experience. For better, for worse, it's the best country there is. If they don't like this country, I'll help them move to another. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mickey Ganish, 100 years young. Woo! They don't make men like that anymore. I wish they did. Wow. Like I'm standing up for the cause of the role of women in World War II and members of the greatest generation. That was cool. Ladies and gentlemen, following Mickey's remarks, we now have a gentleman returning by popular demand for the third consecutive year, also with this lovely woman in red. There's a movie about you, isn't there, Catherine? The Woman in Red. Great movie. Great lady. That's right. Behind every good man, a great woman. And I'm talking about Command Sergeant Major Anthony Spadaro is returned with us today. He's the Command Senior, in case you didn't know. If you weren't here in prior years, I'm going to reintroduce him again. Enlisted leader for the Indo-Pacific Command. In this capacity, he provides the commander with the enlisted perspective on theater security cooperation. In addition, he is responsible for mentoring senior enlisted service members at 4 component commands. Sergeant Major Spadaro's significant awards and decorations include the Legion of Merit with Gold Star, the Bronze Star Medal, the Meritorious Service Medal with a Gold Star, the Air Medal with Strike Numeral 3, the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal with 3 Gold Stars, the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal, the Army Achievement Medal, the Combat Active Ribbon, and Naval Air Crewman Insignia. Put your hands together, let's have some hand slapping stuff. Welcome back, Command Sergeant Major Anthony Spadaro, Semper Fi.
Let's do it right there. Ready? Let's do one together. Aloha. Weak. One more time. Ready? Aloha. We'll get better. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to stand here in the company of heroes, veterans, service members, and civilian leaders who support our military. Patriots all. Let's give them the round of applause that's due to them. I do bring you the best wishes from my boss, Admiral Philip Davidson, the commander of the United States Indo-Pacific Command. Now, the commander does send his regrets that he cannot attend today's ceremony, and that unfortunately he couldn't find someone else better to fill in for him. But my wife, Catherine, and I, we consider it an honor to be here for the 3rd year. So with so many fellow Americans who understand that freedom is an idea worth fighting for, and if need be, an idea worth dying for. Now, as I look around, I realize there's so many distinguished guests here today that I could spend an entire speech trying to acknowledge everyone. Since time won't allow me, I'd like to take a moment to recognize just a few of the honored attendees. Now, you have warriors sitting over here, to my side here. They deserve your significant round of applause. One more time for them. Now, we do have a surprise guest that, oh, my wife, Catherine. No, I gotta meet someone else. We have our 12th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. Someone that mentored me, watched over me, and watched me grow up to be who I am today, who I consider a personal friend and mentor. We have Sergeant Major Gene Overstreet right here. And next to him, you'll see these great young Marines out here. Well, they do need a director, and their national director is here again. We got Colonel Bill Davis and his wife, Brenda Davis. Hey, I have my counterpart from the 25th Infantry Division, Command Sergeant Major Bill Polite and his wife, Elizabeth. 25th ID, right there. And hey, I got to give a shout out. I don't know where, there he is. Hey folks, this is the man behind the scenes that he does need the recognition for once in a couple of years here. Earl Hurry, we can't do this without you. We know it's love, we know it's dedication, and that's a Marine Master Gunnery Sergeant right there, so you know he can make it happen. And Surfer Joe, I hope I got the voice again this year. We doing all right, buddy? Hey folks, behind you though, I want to talk about some riflemen that happen to carry instruments. And that's the field musics of the Marine Forces Pacific Band under the direction of Gunnery Sergeant Christy Espinoza. So give it for my band over there. For most of all, a very special welcome to the greatest generation, our Pearl Harbor survivors and World War II veterans, whom we revere and remember this evening. It is an absolute honor to be joined by you on this hallowed day. And if Mickey Ganish was here right now, I'd take offense with him and say, you got to stop calling yourself a draft dodger, a draft evader, when you think about it. Because when you look at our joint force of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines that are present here, I would tell Mickey, I know he has this engagement, that we stand on your shoulders of greatness, and you evaded nothing. You're less than 1% of society that has had the privilege to serve our flag. So let's give him, maybe you can hear him yell for Mickey as he's going somewhere else. But folks, that fateful Sunday morning 78 years ago, men from their generation, their friends and their brothers were about to conduct morning colors when they were surprised to hear the sounds of real bombs bursting in the air instead of the reassuring melody of our nation's anthem. At that dawn's early light, they ran to battle station, and to the sound of guns, they moved boldly to begin the defense of our country. Those horrific events that took place on December 7th caught both service members and civilians on the island, all by surprise. And it fell upon the shoulders of these brave Americans like these here in the front rows to respond to crisis that fateful day. So please help me welcome again these American patriots with a grateful nation's round of applause. You know, it's difficult to believe that so few Americans who remember the attack 7 decades ago and a course it set for our nation. The story of Pearl Harbor is more about courage of men and women under fire than it is about bombs and battleships. These stories taught me the importance of defending freedom and serving our nation. And this inspired me down a path to do just that. Because today I stand in front of you as a Marine whose father and brother wore the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor on the battlefields of Korea and Vietnam. The Pacific Theater is not just close to me personally, but it's in the DNA of every single Marine that answered the call to serve. It's our birthright. And as the Japanese waged war here on Oahu almost 8 decades ago, Marines found themselves in a race against time to defend Wake Island against a now evident attack from those same forces. Captain Henry Hammering Hank Elrod spent the final days of his life driving his F-4F Wildcat fighter into incoming Japanese bombers and warships. And when the enemy finally took out the last Wildcat, Hank reported to the commander of the ground combat element to take up arms as an infantryman. He gave his life laying down suppressing fire to protect his men. For Captain Elrod, his fellow Marines and sailors, and all who gave their last full measure of devotion for their nation that day, we feel a deep sense of sorrow. Yet, we are also inspired by their great gifts to this world, the gift of freedom itself. They did not go quietly into that night, no. Along with those that survived, a reluctant nation emerged to fight and ultimately win World War II. Now, I began this speech by recognizing our greatest generation, those who serve as living tributes to all things that make our nation great. And while we remember the heroes of that era, I'm also moved by the sure knowledge that we will have an even greater generation of young men and women that are imbued with the American ideas of patriotism, service before self, and love of country. And folks, again, look to your left and your right, and you see our soldiers, our sailors, our airmen, our Marines, our Coast Guardsmen of this great nation that serve today. Give them your round of applause. As you chart the course of your lives, I encourage you to continue to serve our country in any capacity, and especially the youth here. You are the next generation of America's leaders. So as we commemorate this day, let us all rededicate ourselves to delivering to future generations the same gift of security and peace that was purchased for us by those who sacrificed so much in defense of our freedom 7 decades ago. May God bless our Pearl Harbor survivors and World War II veterans, and may God bless those who make the choice to follow in their wake, the men and women of our joint armed forces, every one of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen, past and present, who will step forward to defend our nation. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, you've been listening to the likes of Sergeant Major Anthony Spadaro, back for the 3rd consecutive year by popular demand. And you can see and you can hear why. Right on. And we're going to be getting to have him join our review board right there on King Kalakaua Avenue in just a few moments. This is our final announcement here at Kuroda Field at Fort DeRussy here in Waikiki. I want to thank you all, speakers, for your inspiring words. And to all of our veterans and your families, we salute you, we honor you. In conclusion of the opening ceremony today, we're going to be inviting you to enjoy the official Pearl Harbor Mass Band right now as they perform the Armed Forces Medley. Following the performance of the Mass Band, we are inviting all of the parade participants to be dismissed and to follow your tour manager to the parade route. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, for your listening enjoyment and getting the spirit of America cranked up even further, Christy, take it away, our Mass Band performance. One more round of applause. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you on King Kalakaua Avenue for the Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade, 9th Annual 2019 edition. Mahalo.
Bring your bands to attention. Hey, okay. Go! Versus Hut! What? Versus Hut! Versus Hut! Versus Hut! South! CSU!
with Joel in that golf cart. I kind of have one here just next to it. The camera's set up, but it's off, and the battery in it's good for
All right, your
170
attention,
minutes.
any and all Purple Heart
rousing national anthem by the Tonga Sisters, stand by. The best is yet to come, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks a million for joining us here today for the 9th edition of the Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade. Mahalo. Stand by. This is going to get hotter and hotter as the night draws on.
So much, the Tonga Sisters from International Television here tonight. Thank you to our color guard representing the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, and the Coast Guard. To our color guard this evening, we are proud of America's Armed Forces. Thank you so much, gentlemen, and we appreciate you so much. Let the parade begin, ladies and gentlemen. The Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade 9th Anniversary 2019 edition is about to commence. It's showtime. Let the show begin. Mahalo. We're being covered worldwide on the World Wide Web at pearlharborparade.org. Welcome to our web visitors and you live here in Waikiki on Kalakaua. Again, the Young Marines platoon as they escort many coming down the boulevard here tonight. And you can follow us also on Instagram at Historic Programs. There go the Joint Service Color Guard and our National Anthem Tonga Sisters. Speaking of all our Polynesian neighbors, Tonga, of course, you may know, to be the last remaining kingdom. Only one kingdom left in the Pacific is the Kingdom of Tonga, the great nation of Tonga. Wow, what talent, what talent. Standing by for the Army Balloon, the Army Platoon, and eventually, right thereafter, the Marine Forces Pacific Band. A little bit more about them in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for our young Marines there. Put your hands together. Give it up for the young Marines. Woo! Bill Davidson Company, good job. Here's the United States Army Balloon. Magnificent. 70th year of commemoration. Kalakaua Avenue heating up here in Waikiki. Just outside the Royal Hawaiian Center, and here comes indeed the Marine Forces Pacific Band, established in 1918. This U.S. Marine Corps Forces Pacific Band is one of the oldest American military units in Hawaii, comprised of 50 enlisted Marines and one officer. The band performs at 300 commitments annually on the island of Oahu, and has represented the Marine Corps internationally in America Samoa, Australia, Angola, Canada, China, Mongolia, New Zealand, Okinawa, Saipan, Pearl, and Tonga. Faithful, the Marines. Good job to the Marines. Band's under the direction of enlisted conductor, Gunnery Sergeant Christy Espinosa, and Drum Major Sergeant James Mattis. Oh, young Marines. Thank you, Bill Davidson Company, good job. Of course, our parade being reviewed by Sergeant Major Anthony Spadaro. He is the Command Sergeant Major for the Indo-Pacific Command. Parade entry number 10, our Remember Pearl Harbor bus, red, white, and blue, going out of style and bringing our PICs down the boulevard. Loving it, loving it. There's always some party crashers, and the guys aren't in the parade, they're crashing away. Inspired by the great movie.
Adventures Bus Extraordinaire brings you our Pearl Harbor Survivors Grand Marshal banner. On this bus, we've got the lights, Roy Salt, his wife Nadine, Joe Brilliant, representing the Vietnam vets, as well as Alana and Edward McGlynn. And Tom Berg was every year in this lovely class. In fact, Tom, is going to be in the Corvette. Stand by for a correction of that. Thank you. The reason we're all here today, ladies and gentlemen, is because of these men. Many of the Pearl Harbor survivors have never returned to Pearl Harbor in the 75 years since the attack on December 741. This year we're going to be joined by many of their brothers and some of their family who served also in the European and Great Pacific theaters during World War II. Tom Berg with the pizzazz white Corvette there, the escort is respectfully and honorably should be. His wife for 21 years says she's already got reservations to come back and visit the 10th annual next year. Going out in style. 61. That was a great year in American history. Remember that? 61. Nothing like a 61 Corvette. Take the likes of Tom Berg and his hoodie. Carry them down proudly Kalakaua Avenue. Welcome. Welcome, Bergs. Good job. Good to see you. Tom Berg is our Grand Marshal, and his Corvette kicks off the Corvette Club of Hawaii display here tonight. A little bit more about them. It was established back in '73. You're at Grad High School. What a great year that was. Corvette owners. People just love the great American sports car. And this is Roy Salt. Represents our World War II vets in general. Roy, good to see you. We salute you, sir. Thumbs up. Aloha. Right, talking about going in style. With the Corvette Club of Hawaii, all-American flags blazing. And here we go. Talk about a great white, not shark. Well, maybe it's a land shark. The Corvette Club currently has over 100 members, with associate members from all over the world. They invite you to come out and join the fun camaraderie with people who share many of their own interests and maybe your own interests. Our central membership, they say, has a meeting held every first Tuesday of every month by Verbano Pastoria out there in Palimomi, Aiea. If you want to join them, check them out. The Corvette Club of Hawaii. Thanks to them for driving our Grand Marshals today and tonight for the Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade. Mahalo. Cars, David, here showing off red and like some sports cars. I mean, wouldn't you want to think this guy want to show off that engine with that yellow jacket? How many horse are we talking there, buddy? 400? 500 horse? Woo! Smoking. Somebody don't stop it. There we go. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. That's 400 horse. Not quite the same. Merry Christmas indeed, ladies and gentlemen. In Hawaii, Christmas will be green and bright. The sun will shine by day and all the stars at night. As we say, Mele Kaliki Maka. Merry Christmas to you one and all. Season's greetings and happy holidays from your Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade in Waikiki, a playground of the Pacific. We're all playing and having a great time with the Corvette Club of Hawaii. Pay tribute and honor to our Grand Marshals, especially all veterans of World War II, and especially the Pearl Harbor survivors. Oh, black is beautiful. That's a goodie. Let's hear you, buddy. can't hear you. I'll take it. Belated. That's it. Now we're talking. Come on. Woo! We got the classics. We got the modern. It's the all-American answer to the Ferrari. Made in America. Good job. Good to see all the Christmas decorations and holiday spirit and American flags ablaze here tonight on King Kalakaua Avenue. King Kalakaua, you may know, is honored with the Merry Monarch Festival every year, the big outlet, greatest hula show on the planet, named after the Merry Monarch himself. We love to have a good time. With 500 horse. That must be the one with 600 horse. Cruising. Is that right? You know how to cruise. All right. You and your lady have a great time tonight. Waikiki. How's that? Season's greetings, everybody. Relax and enjoy the view. Indy 78. That was the year. This was the official pace car of the Indianapolis 500 back in 1978. This was probably the fastest car on the road at the time. Things have changed since then. What's up, YouTube? 62nd annual Indianapolis 500-mile race pace car, 8/28/78. History in the making, celebrating our history, remembering it, and celebrating our future, I should say. That's the theme of tonight's Spirit of America. This is the Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade. Cypher. I like it. Welcome, Mr. Long. Going long tonight. Shiny rims. He's red hot. He's smoking. Somebody don't stop it. Speaking of red hot, here we go. We got Miss Ocean Ray, Miss Paradise Hawaii 2020, the Queen Queens, among others, at our event tonight. And the Alakoa Corvette, Miss Paradise Hawaii, Ocean Ray. Welcome. These are the Castle Queens. Majorette alumni. All right. Well, I've got more coordination in one wrist than I've got my whole body. Amazing, amazing. Arizona band, proudly sporting the Prescott High School Pride of Prescott Marching Band insignia. Hooked up with the Young Marines. Anybody else out there for the great state of Arizona? These are from Prescott, Arizona. Our marching band is out there in that rural community in the mountains of central Arizona. City's population about 43,000. High school, 1,350 students that attend. Pride of Prescott Marching Band under the direction of Ann Bradstreet, assisted by Kim Beard, Guard Advisor. Our drum majors this year are Ann O'Prey and Cooper Malden. We are proud to be participating in the second Florida Parade. And last performed in 2013. destroyed the hull, collapsing her forward superstructure, causing her to sink within minutes. These are the Sea Cadets, ladies and gentlemen. Since 1958, the Naval Sea Cadet Corps has been committed to providing American youth with a drug and alcohol-free environment that fosters their leadership abilities, broaden their horizons through hands-on training, and guide them to becoming mature young adults. These are your and the Sea Cadets, plus one four-legged. That's right, we've got them all. 2 legs in vertical, and 4 legs in horizontal. This is the Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade. Next up, the one, the only, Riverwood Squadron Marching Band. The Australian Air League provides its members the means to pursue an interest in the field of aviation and as a career or as a hobby for the youth of Australia. Aims and objectives include fostering the spirit of aviation in the youth of Australia, helping our members achieve their full potential and becoming better citizens who can effectively serve the community. Riverwood Squadron, the largest and most successful Air League squadron in Australia today. For our friends from the car, give them a nice round of applause. Welcome our Australian friends, ladies and gentlemen. Award-winning Riverwood Horse They are interest record-making state and national championship youth band for many years, which will provide service to the community and much, much more. The Riverwood Horse Marching Band. For now, 6 tall flags carried by the one, the only Young Marines. Number 5, hoorah! Ladies and gentlemen, your American Heritage Girls at AmericanHeritageGirls.org. So much. God bless you. Good job. Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard of GIs, you've heard of G.I. Joe. I used to play with a lot of G.I. Joe dolls. Those were the old days, Dave Livingston. But this is G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe. Give them a nice warm round of applause. Looking good there. Woo! And of course, you know, where Jeep began production in my overseas. They're in the state of Ohio. Always said a good place to be from. This is a great place to be too. I always say any direction headed away from Hawaii is the wrong direction. This is my home, and I'm glad of it. I'm glad to have all my roots. G.I. Joe, paying tribute and their salute. Let you know. To World War II veterans and to our Pearl Harbor survivors. Here tonight, December 7th, 2019, edition from the 9th annual Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade. Vermont strong? Oh yeah, 2 of us, huh? My hometown, yeah. Love decisive styles of Hawaii's biggest and best parade. Here we are, just outside the Albert Remain Hotel and adjacent to the Royal Hawaiian Center with the #1 cheesecake factory on the planet. Over 4,000 meals a day. People lined up around the block most of the time. Quite an experience. Thank you to all the wonderful businesses giving us a little bit of space for a little bit of time to pay tribute to people who have given so much to so many. Back 297, Pearl Harbor's Boy Scouts. This is Blazing Effects Classic Cars. Aloha to Lay and Blazing Effects, the good folks that provide us with our classic cars this evening. One of our more popular entries with all the visitors that takes you back to the early 50s and 60s. Thank you, Lay, and our classic cars for their support of the Memorial Day Parade. Melikaliki Maka to you and yours as well. How's it? Shaka. Is that a 5.5 Chevy? Ah, that was the year. Your Einstein passed away and I was born. I wish I believed in reincarnation. That would help. I can dream. Wow, Model T. Maybe we'll see him in the parade next year. That would be cool. We got all the old classics here. Thanks to the ladies who just brought out by the Blazing, I should say, FX Classic Cars. Here's the Central Union High School from El Centro, California. This is the Central Union High School Great Spartan Band. Woo! From El Centro, California. About sitting down on the job. All right. They know how to do it. They know how to live. These are the escorts, the official escorts for the Bel Air. Life is a picnic. You never know what you're going to get. You know you're old if you can remember when you were an adult when this car came out. The SS4U2C. This is a Chevrolet Nova. There was no better car, certainly by your own admission. Check it out. don't get much better than this. Boy, she's got the life, huh? Talk about chugging along. You saw a 5.5 Chevy earlier tonight, ladies and gentlemen. How about a 57 Chevy? Even better. Which is better, a 57 or 55? Makes you wonder. How about a Chevrolet 3100? How about a 327 Chevrolet Camaro SS? Smoking! Here's the Hawaii State record for bumper stickers. Yes, in every good classic cars parade, you better have a Barracuda and a VW Bug. Speaking of Thunderbug, my friend Art Long was in the house. Now, you kids nowadays, you don't remember the Dune Buggy, but I do. How about a Ford truck? The Ford 1967 VW Bug made all those small windows. That's how you know it was before 1967, when you got all the little windows on the side. Yellow Jacket stings like a baby. That car's street legal. I bet those tires would catch on fire if we hit the gas. Woo, making you glad you have ears, or what's left of them. How's it? Komala. Junko-san. Merry Christmas to you too. Chevrolet Nova Station Wagon. We keep them fit to fight. The U.S. Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard. One Camaro, now you see the best one. Don't go on, yeah? Shocker. Just keep pouring on and on. What year's the Bel Air? 55. 58. This, ladies and gentlemen, thanking the veterans, is the banner representing the USS Nevada. That great battleship was commissioned, don't you know, back in March of 1916. Steve Holt just got his Model T car. Well, anyway, he picked one up. It served in the British during World War I in 1927 to 1930. The model was modernized with new masts, a new superstructure, and significant improvements in her firepower. Over the next decade, she operated as part of the battle fleet in the Pacific Ocean. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, Nevada received temporary repairs that allowed her to sail the mainland and receive permanent repairs and improvement. And she later returned to the Pacific to assist the invasion of Iwo Jima and Okinawa and helped us secure victory in that part of the theater in 1945. Paying tribute to the USS Nevada banner here tonight. Quote number 27 as the Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade continues on and on. Stand by, because the best is yet to come. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes down the boulevard the Marshall High School marching Statesman Falls Church, Virginia band. Falls Church is Sister Dory's hometown. She's the reason I'm here. Well, anyway, they're right outside the nation's capital, you may know. And the Statesman's band program includes marching bands, jazz bands, 3 concert bands, and a color guard. The Statesmen consistently compete at the high school level and earn superior ratings and assessments. The Statesmen would like to thank their administration and band parents for all the support they provide. We are honored to be here. So says the Marshall High School Marching Statesman Band from Falls Church, Virginia. Woo! My sister's hometown. Looking good, paying great honor to the men taking care of the great seas of this blue planet. USS Pennsylvania Banner, represented by that ship first in its class in mission 1916. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Girl Scouts HOPS program. Girl Scouts, building girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place, right? Our HOP service unit supports Girl Scouts from the Hickam, Ohana, and Pearl Harbor neighborhoods for our military families stationed in Joint Base Pearl Harbor, Hickam. On average, we support anywhere between 250 and 300 girls a year, ranging from kindergarten to 12th grade. Girl Scouts, adults, believe in the power of every girl to change the world and offer every girl a chance to practice a lifetime of leadership, adventure, and success. Go get them. Innovation, leadership, and risk-taking. That's what the Girl Scouts stands for. Meanwhile, PCC is back. The Polynesian Cultural Center, the one and all, is second only to the Pearl Harbor Visitor Center in the sheer amount of visitor popularity and traffic. Located on the North Shore, the town of Laie, just about an hour's drive from scenic Waikiki, is the top paid attraction, and you can see why. Getting a free show here tonight from PCC, the Polynesian Cultural Center. At the Polynesian Cultural Center, you will meet and learn about and interact with the people of Hawaii, Samoa, Maui, New Zealand, which is Aotearoa, Fiji, Tahiti, Marquesas, and Tonga. Watch Hawaii's only canoe pageant experience our Alii Luau, an authentic Hawaiian luau, and dinner show feast fit for Alii, royal chiefs. Enjoy the world-famous evening show called The Breath of Life. Enjoy family activities for many, many years. And saying hello to you as we welcome the USS West Virginia. She was commissioned in December of 1923 and was the last battleship built for the United States Navy in almost 20 years. In 1940, she was moved to Pearl Harbor. Ladies and gentlemen, Sergeant Major Anthony Spadaro to Bert Walden. Bert Waldron is a retired Navy Seabee and is 96 years young and insisted on rocking the parade. Come on, where's the Americans out there? We don't make them like we used to. The greatest generation present here tonight in Waikiki for the Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade. God bless you, Bert Waldron, for all your service and for the memories. And thank you, Joel Biggs, our chairman, for presenting him with a medal tonight, as presented in fact by Major Sergeant Anthony Spadaro, our reviewing officer. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen, the best is yet to come. Oh yeah. Here she is, Miss Waikiki, Miss Nicole Rodriguez. All right, Waikiki, my hometown. And she's accompanied by Miss Oahu, the queen of the gathering place of Oahu, Jobel Lucas. How much did this lucky guy have to pay for that job, huh? Big money, huh? The brother, okay, taking care. Thank you, courtesy Woodward Ford of Hawaii, for the kukua and transporting our VIPs tonight. Welcome, welcome. Okay, coming up next, we point to and acknowledge the Lancaster High School marching legends. From Lancaster, New York. Who's from New York out here tonight? Make some noise. From the great state of New York comes this marching band founded in the 1950s. They've been considered one of the top marching bands in Western New York ever since. Mr. Richard Goss, now in his 27th year as director. Marching legends have performed concerts, parades, field show competitions, and exhibitions over 20 states, as well as Ontario, Canada. Two-time New York State Field Band Conference State Champions. They were the 2011 AutoZone Liberty Bowl Sweepstakes Champion. Here they are, the Lancaster High School Marching Legends. They performed in parades 8 times in Walt Disney's World Magic Kingdom. Most recently, New Year's Eve of 2017. They performed with the Detroit Tigers, the Buffalo Bills, and the Buffalo Bills. Wow, top 4, top 4. Air Force, founded in 1947, our youngest branch. All the pilots flew before for the Army and on Navy ships. This now, the Vietnam Veterans of America Association and the proud young Marines bearing the banners and flags. Founded in 1978, the Vietnam Veterans of America Incorporated is the only national Vietnam veterans organization congressionally chartered and exclusively dedicated to Vietnam and Vietnam-era veterans and their family. And no less than the Ford Escape, I should say. Good choice of tasting cards, lady. Rona Adams, one of the only. There are currently 605 chapters and approximately 80,000 members throughout the U.S., its territories, and the Philippines. organization are to promote and support the full range of issues important to Vietnam veterans, to create a new identity for this generation of veterans, and to change public perception of Vietnam veterans. We hold as a first principle that our organization is measured by deeds and openness as evidence of the core values of justice, integrity, and meaningful achievement. While Chapter 858's Ohana is the only chapter in the state that has over 150 members and associate members. Vietnam veterans' founding principle, never again shall one generation of veterans abandon another. Thank you for your participation. Good advice indeed. Thank you for the reminder to vote on Saturday, April 4th, 2020. Get that 2020 vision going already. I'm getting a vision on the USS Tennessee. Here's the banner. Ladies and gentlemen, here on the strip in Waikiki and Kalakaua Avenue, behold, this is the L&L Dance Company from Wapakoneta, Ohio. You may have seen them. They're in Corona Field at Fort DeRussy Park, the kickoff ceremony for tonight's parade. They hail from a small town in the great state of Ohio, directed by Lenny Chillis. Here representing the company are performers. Right there in front, we saw them perform before. Again, it's Lauren Craig, Kylie Engel, Emily Tigler. Over the banner, Isaac Chillis from the Army 82nd Airborne Veterans, and Becky Shaw from the L&L Dance Company, who's performed and competed all over America. And they've received many awards and national titles, but this is by far their greatest honor yet to be able to participate in this event. L&L thanks all veterans on this day and every day. L&L Dance Company, my hometown, Wapakoneta, Ohio. Well, if you know your Latin, you remember that Semper Fi means always faithful, and that's the Marine. Semper Paratus, always prepared, represents the philosophy and motto of your United States Coast Guard since 1790. The last time Haleakala erupted, don't you know? But that's another story for another day. Go Coast Guard. This is the beginning of, and many more to come, some of the hottest cars on the road. You've seen Corvettes. You've seen all kinds of collector cars tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Cobra Club of Hawaii. It's an informal group of car enthusiasts who love their thunderous, four-wheel tributes to racing legend Carroll Shelby. In 1962, Carroll Shelby created a monster of a car by stuffing a massive Ford V8 into a lightweight English roadster and surrounding it with a bulging, muscular set of fenders. Right from his debut, this wild race car dominated the racing world in the 60s, setting a performance benchmark that stood for 35 years. The 427 AC Cobra is such a pleasure to drive, it makes sitting at a stoplight even fun. The Cobra Club of Hawaii. Roaring God. Here goes another 427. How many horsepower does the 427 generate? That's what I want to know. 600? Unbelievable. There's nothing like a good German Shepherd. Thank you, Bob Newberger. God bless you. I can't remember a year without the taiko drummers. Can you? I think they've been with us every year. This isn't just any taiko drummers, ladies and gentlemen. This represents the first class Kenny Endo taiko drummers, one of the leading artists of contemporary percussion and rhythm. He is the vanguard of taiko genre, continuing to pave new paths to this Japanese-style drumming, even after 35 years as a career taiko player. Kenny Endo, Honolulu. Woo! That is the Grand Master, ladies and gentlemen. He is the poster child of drumming. Kenny Endo and Company. Marching style and honored to represent the Upper Midwest in this year's Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade. Tonight they're performing for you Shut Up and Dance and the Swing Movements from their fall Pearl Harbor show. You can join them by dancing and clapping along if you wish. This is the Lakeville South High School Marching Cougars from Monticello, Minnesota.
occupied with your smart camera, you're welcome to clap along and join in making music with these, the Lakeville South High School Marching Cougars.
Minnesota, my hometown, Lakeville South High School Marching Cougars. Wow, Dave, they get the Big Band Award, don't they? Big Band indeed. Woo, listen to that percussion. I love it, I love it. Lakeville, Minnesota, the Mobile Best Center, and the Department of Veteran Affairs Readjustment Counseling Service. Their mission is to welcome home war zone veterans and their families by offering free and confidential readjustment counseling. It's one of over 60 mobile vet centers nationwide, complementing the 2 locations here in Oahu, one in Honolulu and the other in Kapolei. Mobile Vets. Ladies and gentlemen, the 9th annual 2019 edition of this, the Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade, broadcast live and worldwide at pearlharbor.org as part of a plan to both remember the past and celebrate the future, and to find
Big round of applause for the Big Wave Brass Band from the Marine Corps Pacific Band. Before we go, I'd like to ask politely all the Marines in the Marine Forces Pacific Band to please come up to the stage. Be proud. You like each other, right? And ladies and gentlemen, how about standing up and giving these Marines a big round of applause? Keep it going, keep it going. The Marine Forces Pacific Band, keep it going. One more big round of applause for the Marine Forces Pacific Band. Now I'd like to introduce you to the chairman of the Pearl Harbor Parade Committee and the CEO of our organization, Mr. Joel Biggs. Please give him a big round of applause.
Thank you, Earl. Hey, isn't it a great night? We're getting a lot of good food, everybody getting what they need. We don't want you to leave here hungry, so we still got a few of you in line back there, and there's plenty of seats up front. Once you get your food, please come forward. Hey, we just wanted to thank you for making the effort to get back here. We know it's not easy, but you guys did whatever you did all throughout the year to come back and pay tribute to our veterans. And that's amazing. That's special that you would do that. This event, this parade is unlike anything else that you'll ever participate in. It's in a beautiful state, Hawaii. Isn't this an amazing place? Not only that, but you're here on the island where one of the most significant events in American history took place, which was the attack on Pearl Harbor that thrust America into World War II. We commemorate and remember the past and pay tribute to our veterans. At the same time, we recognize the once bitter enemies can become friends and allies, and that's what we celebrate at this parade. That could not happen without great music teachers, directors, administrators, all you students. Why don't you give them a round of applause? They deserve that. Not everybody in the country gets to do stuff like this. You guys are special because you've got teachers who have vision and administrators who support that vision and give you kids the opportunity to come back to a place like this, participate in an event like this. You guys did an absolute incredible job today. We have a few awards that we want to hand out. I'm going to invite my crew up here. I also want to invite Moa Mahe. Moa, get up here. Moa is such an important part of this community. This event does not happen without Moa and his team. All these guys in the yellow jackets around here, these are the guys that make it happen. They're from here and they know the island better than anyone. All of your tour managers who've been with you the last few days, give those guys a round of applause. Who has the best tour manager? Who has the best one? Come here, Moa. You want to say anything?
Conway.
Was that Conway, did you say? Or was it Boyd? Okay. Maybe Rocky. All right. Dolly, where you at? All right. We had three sisters that sang earlier. And their dad is the tour director for Central. Walter, where are you? And we're so proud of his daughters, our nieces. They did an awesome job. They sang the national anthem, I believe. All right. Thank you, everyone. Hope you folks enjoy the rest of this thing. Thank you, Moa. Thank you very much. At this time, we want to present you with a special award. We can't do this without the help of Staff Sergeant Mathis and Gunny Espinosa, who directed you today. Thank you for being here. They'd like to shake your hand as you come up. We're going to invite 2 members of each group, representatives, to come forward at this time. The first group, and this is a unique award, isn't it? It's fitting that you get a Tiki trophy. Good luck. L&L Dance Group, if you would come forward, please. And we're going to move through this pretty quick. Tarleton State University, if you would come forward, please. Prescott High School, all the way from Arizona, where it's all beach and no ocean. All the way from Australia, the Riverwood Squadron. Representatives from Riverwood, please come forward. And our good friends from Lakeville South High School, send a couple up there, please. Marshall High School. After Marshall High School, we'll have Central Union High School. And Lancaster High School. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Christopher Meeker, or to Moa Mahe. Moa has a presentation for the outstanding band performance today in the parade. And the grand champion, the winner goes to Lakeville South. Congratulations, Lakeville South. All of you guys were incredible. Lakeville South, great performance today. Quick thank you to all the members of our committee, Earl, Chris, Moa, Harold, all of the guys in yellow, all of your tour managers. We've got Bert, we got Crew, we've got Levi and Jeremy, and we've got Chad and Dana today. So thank you everybody who was here on our committee. I'm going to turn the rest of the time over here to Mr. Chris Meeker. Many of you directors have gotten to know over the last several months. He's our executive producer for this event. He does an incredible job, and he'll wrap things up for us tonight.
Thank you, Joel. Well, it's a pleasure to be with you all and to meet you all in person. It's been a long road talking to you by email and phone, and all you directors that I've had a correspondence with, you brought wonderful groups. These are wonderful young people. So thank you guys for everything that you've done. The last thing we wanted to wrap up tonight with is, many of you know, is if you were, which you all were, at our opening ceremony today, and some of our young people here had an opportunity to give a medal to our veterans, to our World War II veterans. If you've seen this medal before, well, our veterans are so appreciative of this gift that we give to them that they want to make sure that all of you get one as well. And so we actually have one of these commemorative medals for the 75th anniversary of World War II that can go to each of you. And we have bags of them right over here. So again, we'd invite a representative, just somebody from your group, to come on up and get your bag of medals. And we hope that you enjoy this token from us on behalf of all the veterans and everybody at the Pearl Harbor Memorial Parade. Thank you for being here. We appreciate all that you do. And enjoy the rest of your time in Hawaii, everybody. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, can I have your attention just for one more second? Colleen, come on up. Colleen wanted to make an announcement for somebody. Thanks, Warren. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may ask Lila to come up here. So, you all had the opportunity to listen to Lila earlier today in the welcome ceremony, but we'd like to sing her happy birthday as she's celebrating her birthday today. I'm going to ask Kim to come up here so there's a birthday cake for her. Where's Lila? Oh, alright, so Lila is still 17 years old, right? Okay. Alright, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lila. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Lila. All right, gang, so we've got a couple minutes. We're going to have 4 buses pull up right in the front, back in front here of the Danny's restaurant, and that's the shuttle back to the Hilton Hawaiian Village. Okay? Now, some of you are staying at the Queen Cab, so you're just right next door.